Welcome back to Euzoia, everyone, the podcast for life maxing. And this week's topic is caring about people you didn't choose. I think this is a super interesting topic. Christoph, any first thoughts on caring about people you didn't choose?
Sure. So I think what we mean when we say caring for people you didn't choose is like, so far we talked a lot about friends, and friends is like your chosen family, right? Like you find them, you decide to hang out with them, you decide to befriend them. But then there's like so many people in your life and broader, more and more who are kind of there, right? It's like, maybe it's your parents, maybe in a way it's your children. Like you didn't choose to like be friends with your children. It's like they're very own persons. Your neighbors, anybody, like colleagues, right? And I think what's usually the kind of wisdom in like individual Western society is like, just like kind of minimize that interaction. Like obviously not with your children, no, but like set your boundaries, be like very clear about what you can do and kind of focus on the kind of people you want to spend time with. I think my hot take here is that maybe we took it a bit too far, and we can learn a lot from like more kind of community focused societies that are more like, I think, have the vibe of like, hey, like we're in this together. Let's just do it together, no? And we'll kind of sort it out on the way. And if I had to summarize this, like, how do you deal with people you kind of were dealt? Is maybe just like show up, right? Like just do kind of your part. And yeah, that's the high level idea. How does it resonate with you?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think for me, I could say a lot about this topic, but I think for me, it's also just about almost having empathy for these people and just, I kind of try and come from a point of radical empathy where everyone is just how they are from their like circumstances or like their upbringing, all this stuff. So for me, I feel like letting go and like not holding a grudge or, allowing things from the past to affect it and just, like you said, showing up, that to me has been the most useful thing. And yeah, I feel like definitely have struggled with this and improved my relationships a lot from this sort of attitude. So
Right.
definitely resonates.
Yeah, maybe I thought a bit like what's like a good way to think through this. And yeah, what helped me is like to maybe go through, I'm always structured, right? Maybe go through three kind of process steps. And the first one is like, just start remembering with who supported you during all your life, right? It's like many of these people also, like you were in their lives the same way that other people are now in your lives, right?
Yeah.
And they showed up for you and they helped you. And like this, of course, has been your parents, right? But like also maybe your neighbors, your community, your teachers, your like so many people in your life who, your colleagues or like who just showed up for you, supported you. You could even extend this, right? To like, okay, like who else is to kind of expand social or moral circles, like in some way, like people in countries that were colonized, like, and are now working at like minimum, very low wages to get you nice sneakers, right? Like somehow they're also supporting you, right? like somehow that chicken that lay those eggs that you ate this morning, like also supported you in some way, right? Like this is like bigger and bigger circles, but like just first like spending some time of like understanding and being aware of like, okay, like what got me here where I am now, right? And maybe in a second step, also acknowledging, okay, then all these people helped me to get here. Now that I am here, like, what do I actually have? Like, which position did I end up in, right? Like what's my privilege maybe, right? Like I can speak for myself. Like I got very, very lucky, right? In both like the passport I grew up with, healthy, somewhat smart, not super ugly, right? Like so many things.
Yeah.
Just like from the deterministic lottery, let's just say, the power you maybe now have over other people, right? Like maybe partly because you're privileged, maybe partly because of your position, right? Like you just have actual power, and that power might mean those other people can't actually voice their needs to you, right? Or can't actually like talk back or have an honest conversation just because like maybe you're their boss or you're their, I mean, parent is always a silly example in this case, but maybe because they're on another continent and can't reach you, right? Like there's like this, just trying to be aware of like, where do I have like all these power dynamics in my life? And again, like I'm probably the worst person to talk about this because like as a white man in Amsterdam, like babbling on a self-help podcast, like I ended up in a pretty pretty highly privileged and quite powerful attitude. Like, right. So what do I know, right? Like, but I think it's useful to at least try to be aware of this, right, and to talk with other people about this. And the last one is maybe like, what kind of resources do I now have to give or to support others with, right? Like last week we talked about giving to your friends and community, like the people you liked and the people who are like you're anyway close to you. But in a way, like based on all of this, like there is like a lot of opportunity to also give to people who are like not in your immediate like friendships or direct communities where you kind of want to strengthen those relationships. But simply because you happen to end up in a position with lots of power and resources compared to others, where yeah, I think the right thing to do is to show up to also help those who were maybe not quite as lucky as you.
Yeah, totally. I strongly feel it's, almost like a moral responsibility to help others less fortunate than you, and like you said, use your position and power to help others as much as possible. So yeah, that one resonates for me as well.
Yeah, and then maybe this is like a lot of like, or you ought to do this, and can like feel like very intense, right? And what I was writing is I was like, oh, like this is getting dark, but like it doesn't have to be, no, like still like showing up can be a beautiful experience, right? Like when you give time and attention to people in your community who, yeah, you just should approach with love and support, like they will definitely like recognize this and like it, right? Like you don't have to do this alone, right? Like you can like team up with other people and like maybe organize something, maybe support people, maybe like this doesn't have to be this like lonely struggle for like try to do morally right what you feel guilty for. This I think is a struggle you can't win, but yeah, you can again like join forces with others and just kind of try to see where there's opportunity to be nice to people who yeah are in your surroundings and spread those good vibes with your time and your money.
Amazing. Yeah, any final thoughts on this topic?
No, I mean maybe just some like I started this out with like how do you deal with people who aren't necessarily your friends but who are in your environment, right? And then from there we very quickly went into like okay, like very broadly like what's your responsibility in the world? And I think we'll do a much deeper dive on like purpose, meaning, responsibility at some other point. But I think this is like a natural point to start thinking about this, right? It's just like yeah, how do I want to show up in a relationship with others who also just happen to be with me on this world? And yeah, just showing up is, I think, a great first start.
Okay, amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And we will be back next week. And yeah, we'll see you then.
See you next week.